Hey, hey, hey. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you are. Well, here we are, another Thursday in May. Oh, this is our first Thursday in May? Oh, yeah, this is our first Thursday in May. Yes. This is April. You see, I've jumped ahead. This is our first Thursday in April. And I think it's going to be an amazing April, mostly because over here we're getting some rains and it's cooling down a little bit, So this is nice. This is a nice weather for us before the floods and the heavy rains come. But what are we talking about this month on Unplugged? Hmm, very interesting one. Now, I don't know how this idea came about, but it did come about and it came strong. But do you know that you can make a living and a very good one at that and make a mark in the world using your voice only? Just your voice. How are you going to do that? Follow us on Unplug for the next 4 weeks as we discover how you can find yourself and your purpose in life through exploring and deploying the power of your voice in different ways. And I'm talking about people who have taken time to train their voices and really use their voices as instruments in different ways. And our guest today first caught my ear and my eye as a member of New Song, which is a choir in my local church almost 10 years ago. So please welcome with me Maureen Adebayo. Hi, Maureen.
Hi, good afternoon, man. How's everyone doing?
It's everyone is doing well. Everybody's doing great. They're all doing well. I
Good, good,
hope you're
good,
doing
good.
well too.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I'm doing great. Thank you.
fantastic. Let's try and get onto Instagram as well and see. So, um, you you invite me, or you asked to be on Instagram, and let's see how that will work.
Okay. You have to show them. You have to come on live for me to make a request.
I'm I'm live.
Okay, I can't see you yet.
Julia Jack's Consulting, not Julia Oku.
Yeah, Julia
Julia
Jobs
Jack's Consulting.
Consulting. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, we
yes.
are live right now. Yeah,
Julia
we're
Jobs
live.
Consult.
People are joining. Hi, Oye. How are you? Welcome. We're trying to get on Maury to join us. Thank you for
She's not
joining us
live yet.
today.
To show if it's live,
I am live. People are
you have
joining.
to wait.
Yeah, but it's not showing your live on my phone yet.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what I can do about that, but people are joining. People
It is
people are
well.
joining. Yes.
It's I. Oh,
Okay. Well, I can try and invite you again. Let's see if that will
again.
work.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
try that.
So I have invited you again.
Okay, let's see. Okay, you're live now.
I've invited you again.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
request to join.
No, you're supposed to actually come on.
Yeah,
You know,
I've requested.
okay, okay. I'm just going to do it all, and I've accepted. I think there's just a time delay between, and that could be the network. I
Okay.
think I'm just going to ask UC
No
to
one
work
can.
on that.
What are you working?
I'm going to ask UC to just work on that. Let's start our conversation. And we start a
Okay.
conversation by just saying,
Okay.
yeah, yes. Oh, everybody is giving me. Stella, I've sent her an invitation. Hi, Emmanuel. Yes. Everybody's seeing you and hearing you. Yes. They're seeing you and hearing you.
Okay.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
Then we can go on.
Well, I think I'll just ask UC to just keep trying to get you on. So, Maureen, tell us, how did you get to this pace? How did you get what in your life prepared you? Hey, Emmanuel, how you doing? What in your life prepared you to be in this space where you are a minister, praise and worship minister,
Now they accepted.
versed in many languages? What prepared you?
Oh wow. Okay. Mine is a unique story. I'm just going to give a background. I actually didn't discover it myself. Okay, a short story. I okay. My late mom was invited for a church program. She just left the White Garment Church and didn't want to go to church anymore. And then a neighbor invited her to church. And we went to this Pentecostal church. They had a 3 day revival service. We attended, mom gave her life to Christ. And then the following week, they had a video service and we attended. Those days there used to be benches, so they had gathered benches for children to lie on, and the rest of us were sleeping right under the benches. And I felt someone pulling me from under the bench. It was just pulling me, dragging me from under the bench. And then the next thing I heard was my mom screaming, "Please, oh, she's innocent, oh, she hasn't done anything wrong, oh, sacrifice me instead, oh, and leave her alone." She had
Whoa.
the white garment background, you know. And then people around kept telling her, don't worry, we don't sacrifice human beings here, and all that. And then I was 6 at the time, and then the pastor goes, telling the church that God told him that I was going to carry the gospel through music to the ends of the earth. And then to kickstart that journey, he asked me to lead praise in that video, that I had permission to sing anything that came to mind. And so I
Hold
remember the
on, you're
first track.
6 years old.
Yes,
You're
I was
six
6
years
at the
old.
time. Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
And then I started out, darling Jesus, oh my darling Jesus. And before I knew it, I sang for, if I'm not exaggerating, I sang for over 30 minutes, if not close to an hour. People were dancing. I couldn't tell what else I sang. I just remember the first song I did. And ever since, and that was how I was recruited into the choir. And the journey began. The journey
Wow.
began. So it was discovered for me.
It was discovered for you. This was like a
Yes.
prophecy over your life, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes.
But
Yes.
was that what you really wanted to do as a 6-year-old?
I couldn't tell. I just found myself doing it and I loved it. And I did it so well. So
Okay.
and I'm
Well,
loving it. I'm still loving it.
oh yeah, it shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah,
It definitely
yeah,
shows. Okay.
yeah,
And as you grew up as a teenager, and I'm going to ask this because I'm a mom of a teenager as well. And I
yeah,
know some of my friends here have teenagers and so on.
yeah.
How do you? How do you marry like a prophetic utterance over your life with the things that teenagers go through? This has nothing to do with the power of your voice, but
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do
I
you manage
understand.
that? Yes, yes.
Whoa. Okay, actually, I won't say I thought about it. I just knew or found myself in church and I had my mom to guide me. Okay, let me just say this. Growing up, even as a teenager, I don't know, I was more like, in quote, consecrated already to God without knowing it. My mom used to refer to me as God picking. Ah, don't touch that one or that one, my God picking. So somehow my teenage years, I actually lived a very good life. I actually lived a very good life, not with the mindset of carrying a prophecy over my life. I just know I lived a good life. And it was after my teenage years that it was like the knot now loosened small.
Okay. But you always carry that consciousness of
Yes,
this is what I was
as I
as you
grew,
do.
I realized that I needed to. Yeah.
And your mother was one of those people who helped nurture
Oh my,
that.
the woman was she didn't let me go for 1 second. She was always reminding me, and her way of reminding me was God picking. If I touch you now, God go vex. So behave yourself. Oh, God picking. This one they did, So that's how. So it was always ringing in my head. God picking, God picking. So I just somehow, I just found myself, and then I had, apart from my mom, I had the pastors. I had the church aunties and uncles as my big brothers and big sisters. So somehow they kept me in check for me unknowingly, but somehow I was responsible to an extent. Yeah.
It's always very good to have people who speak over one's
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we pray that when they speak to us, we listen to them. It can be difficult
Yeah. So
sometimes. Can be difficult
yeah, really.
sometimes. Yes. Yes. So last week, our local church, was it last week? Yeah, Reinvent was last week or week before.
Yes. 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 It
Last
was
week.
last week. Last week.
Yes. Yes. I listened to one
Right.
of the sessions. I think so, yeah. I listened to one of the sessions with Pastor Nathaniel Bassey, and he was
Okay.
speaking about the importance of that it's not just your voice, but it is that consecration, that awareness
Yeah.
that you carry
Yeah.
within you. So I want to ask, what's the difference
Yeah.
between a minister who ministers in song and a singer?
Okay. I think you already said it. A singer is one who sings, but a minister carries a consciousness of consecration and devotion to God. There's something Pastor Nathaniel Bassey said on that day too. You worship God to the degree you know Him. You can't I can't know God for you. You have to know God for yourself to be able to worship God, you know the way you ought to worship God or something like that. So it calls for consecration. It calls for devotion. It calls for revelation. You need to know the God you're singing about. You need to have a relationship with the God you're singing about. Now that differentiates you from the regular singer who just sings. So I think you already said it. Yes, that's the consecration draws the defining line between just the singer and one who is a minister. The minister always carries a consciousness of God, while the singer just sings, maybe for whatever gain they want to get or something. Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm to, since I'm not neither a singer, like I described myself, I'm a member of a sing a joyful, make a joyful noise
Make a
unto
devil
the
noise,
Lord.
yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
a devoted member of that club. You know, but how does one really know? Because I've listened to people, and sometimes And this is listening to their albums, some live, some their albums, their
Yeah.
CDs, or their streams.
Yeah.
And then sometimes nothing touches me, but sometimes from the very first notes they sing,
Yeah.
you're getting message. And we are still talking about the power of that voice, because your voice now is expressed through music, through
Yeah.
singing. Yeah. What happens sometimes?
I
Not to
think
put you on the
for
spot.
me,
Not okay,
yeah, no,
please
no,
go
no.
ahead.
It's good. Many things come to play. When I hear people ask questions like this or say things like this, many things come to play. Um, Sometimes it depends on the mood of the listener at that time. I could be someone can be listening to a Nathan Ebasi song, but the person is in a very rough mood and is not interested in listening to or hearing anything. At that point, he may not be able to cut across to that person. So the person's state of mind comes to play. It's very, very important at that point. And then sometimes there are people that just play songs. So for them, some songs are just for enjoyment and they listen to it once in passing and they're done. What I mean by that is some people love the slow songs, which we term worship songs. So
Which we know
when
they are
they
not.
get to hear, yes, of course. So when they get to hear another song, which is fast tempo, what we call praise, the person may just, it's nice, but until you give the person the worship, the slow songs, the person is not satisfied. So sometimes that you listen to a song and it didn't cut across to you. It could be the state of your mind. It could be that sometimes, and then when people don't really know an artist, for instance, they've not heard of an artist and they have to listen to the person's song, they listen with a mindset. Who is this one? What does this one want to sing? It's not messaging one. It's not Nathan Ebasi. Okay, let's just hear what this person has to sing. And then you're listening. You're listening. Okay, person tried. And then the next thing they just play messaging one song. Oh my god, you're already in high spirits saying this because you already know this artist, you're already identified with this artist. So a lot of things. It could be that you're not conversant with the artist, your state of mind, or it's not your style of music, or it's not the kind of music you like. You prefer the worship, the slow or mid-tempo kind of songs to the fast-paced songs. So many things. I think for me, I think it depends. Some others might have other views about it, but I think it depends on a few factors, not just because the song in itself is not maybe good enough to make you smile or good enough to make you happy or something. So I think
Okay,
it depends.
I'll share a comment by Jasari on Instagram. She says, I think a singer is generic, while the appendage minister is specific to one who serves the gospel through psalms. I really love that word, psalmist. Psalms, hymns, and
Yeah,
spiritual songs.
songs.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then let me go back to something that Pastor Nathaniel said. And all these people that you've mentioned, we all got to know them one day. We didn't they're not
yeah,
members of our family. Well,
yeah,
not
yeah,
members of my family. So I got to know
yeah.
them one day. I listened, then I listened. I remember Pastor Nathaniel's first song that I ever listened to. It was Is Your Name in the Book of Life?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
Yes, that was the very first one I listened to. Uh-huh. But I would go back to something he said, and now I've had a senior moment, and that thing has gone away. It will come back. But I think he talks more about the
Okay.
state of your heart. That worship is not is not the
Yeah,
slow. It's
yeah.
not the slow. Is it okay? Now let me tell you, I love music.
Same.
I really love
Yeah,
music. I
not at
absolutely
all.
love. I love music with all my heart. All my heart. I love gospel music. I love all almost all versions of music. when I became born again,
Okay.
it was in the time of Kurt Carr, Kirk Franklin, those kind of music, and it became easy for me to look at the music from their perspective because it sounded a little bit secular,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
until you now
Yeah.
moved away from the one that was trending and started listening to the other songs, and that's not to say the ones that sounded secular
Yeah.
did not minister, because I believe they ministered and they got people like me, they drew us in, you know. So yes, my
Yeah.
state of mind may be important, but I believe, and then maybe what I you see, I didn't know Mercy Chinwo before. I didn't even know that she had won. Was it Nigerian Idol or The Voice? I can't
The,
remember.
the
I didn't
voice.
even know.
The
One
voice.
day, The Voice. Okay. One day I was just I think I was just online. They said, okay, since you like, I used to listen to her. I still listen to Choma Jesus a lot. I don't
Yeah.
understand what she says.
Okay.
And when people ask me, and that's the power of the voice and the power of ministry,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when people ask me, why are you listening to her? You don't understand what she's saying half of the time. I said, it's okay. I said, the spirit in her is talking to the spirit in me,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's
That's
fine,
true.
that's
Yeah.
fine. And it was YouTube that suggested to me, since you like this person, maybe you like this person,
Okay.
and
You
that's
like,
how I got it.
yes. Yes.
But it's more like
Okay.
it's not even about the voice. But let me go into the voice now. How did you fine tune your voice? How did you develop your voice? Did you always have this voice?
Okay. Truth is, from the moment I was told to sing, from the story I shared earlier, I discovered I could sing, and that was it. But as you grow older, you're learning, you're becoming better. You begin to add a few elements to your singing. But basically, please permit me to say, the voice has always been this good. Yes,
Okay,
but it just only got better and more mature. Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Are there special things that you have to do as you're training and improving your voice? Are there special things you have to do?
Yeah, basically vocal warm-ups. Every singer has what works for them. What kind of there are specific vocal warm-ups I don't dare to do if I have to sing in the morning, while there are some I must do if I have to sing early in the morning, like the vocal warm-up, for instance. I do that only in the mornings, early hours of the morning. For instance, if I have a 7 a.m. singing to do, I get up earlier. I do my vocal fry warm up exercise. I do that and a few breathing exercises, and I'm done. I go for my singing. But if it's towards afternoon, evening, I don't dare do vocal fry, because at that point, if I dare do that, it's going to now spoil or damage the voice or crack the voice. So there are specific exercises for me that I don't dare do early hours of the morning, and some I do early hours of the morning. So I believe every singer has to discover what works for them. But there are numerous vocal exercises and warm ups that we do, lots and lots of them. Just do them and then it works. Yeah, yeah. Of course, there are exercises we do. Yeah.
Okay. There's something else that you said. I'm sorry I keep mentioning him, but that was one session that I paid close attention to.
All
For
right.
I don't know why, because I'm not a singer. I don't know why, but he said that even as a worship minister, you have to keep honing your craft.
Your craft.
You
Yeah.
have to keep improving your craft. That
Yeah.
if somebody says you should work, you should play this particular chord or sing in this note or song. You have to know,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing collaborations. And sometimes you've seen that a lot of our collaborations now are virtual,
Yeah.
they're virtual. So how do you get to that point? How do you get to know? That is what I'm not asking you about, the craft of the developing the power of your voice.
Sorry, Ma, can you take that again?
Okay.
How do I
How do
get to
you
know, or how
the
am I able to
specific
collaborate?
okay, maybe it's a two in one question. Um
Okay.
okay, let me now delink
Mhm.
them. How do you know as a minister,
Okay.
a psalmist, let me call you a psalmist. As a
All right.
psalmist, how do
Yeah.
you know what kind of specific trainings do you do apart from the vocal exercises you talked about? What specific trainings? Is there anywhere somebody can go and learn, or do you have to learn as you go along?
Okay. Talking about places to go learn. I think there are places you can go and learn. Um, Jasari is still online, right? She used to have a place in Port Harcourt when she was still here before she got married. She used to have a place, and then a few others. I think there was also one at Bible Faith Church talking about places. I don't know if that still exists, but I believe there are places, and then you can go online. But I tell people, some after being online, so, you get to a point where you still need a coach or a trainer to guide you through, because sometimes you read all those things they write, you don't even understand a bit of what they're saying. So at that point you need someone else to come in and guide you. So at that point people look for vocal coaches, vocal trainers, not because they can't get the information online. Every information you need you can get online. But of course, apart from the
Absolutely.
vocal warm-ups, I recommend, when I train people, I also recommend physical exercises, because it helps your breathing. It helps your breathing. Like we say, if you can breathe well, you can sing well. So I don't just recommend vocal warm-ups and exercises. I also recommend physical exercises. So when you come to my class, sometimes we just jog around a few times, and then commence our vocal exercises and the rest of them.
That's
And part
interesting.
of
I
the
didn't know that.
vocal exercises, yes, you have to be fit, because if you can't breathe well, you can't sing well. And then part of, not just the la 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 la, not just that. There's also the part of diction. And when I teach diction in two parts: in correctness and in clearness. So all these have to come to play when you sing. So it's not just the vocal la 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 and all that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a
So
very
that's
naughty
for
question. I'm going to
oh
ask a very
my.
naughty question. Very, very, very naughty
Okay.
question. It's like,
I hope I don't give a naughty
what do you
answer.
think about this? No, I'm sure you will come correct. You know how how about this thing that people like to do runs? People like to do runs with
Okay.
them.
Okay.
And sometimes
Yeah.
we now get so carried away with the quality of the runs that we forget why we're singing in the first
The
place.
message and the singing. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
I think Pastor Wale answered that. Pastor Wale came on before Pastor Nathaniel during the
I
Reinvent
miss I
conference
miss
when he
I
was.
miss most of yes.
What? Yes, yes. He talked about that, and he said moderation is key. You don't want to distract people from the message of the song. You don't want to draw their attention to yourself. The attention is not supposed to be on you. And when you do too much vocal rips and runs, you distract the audience, while some are in awe, like, this person can do this thing. The others are like, oh, why not? Can we just sing this song and get on with it? At that point, it's now all about you. Of course, you can go ahead and do your vocal riffs and runs, but moderation, the moment it becomes about you, you will know. You know that at this point, you're not ministering to anybody. You're not even ministering to God. You're just ministering to yourself and taking the glory. At that point, you will know. So moderation, and that's why we have the Spirit of God. That's why we have the Spirit of God. The moment we're beginning to want to overdo stuff, He gives you a check. So, but the question is, am I paying attention to the check the Holy Spirit is giving? So that I know that at this point, I'm actually deviating. Let me even give this example. There was a time many years ago when Jasari was still in Port Harcourt. One of those days I decided to attend her classes. Then I think we were teenagers then, we were small children. I attended her class, one of her classes, and she was given an example on this. And she says the song she used, if she still remember, was Amazing Grace. She says, you want to sing Amazing Grace, for instance, you don't begin with vocal riffs and runs. Just sing the first time through, sing once through, then you can now add a bit of all of that. And she goes, if I want to sing Amazing Grace in a church service, because it is not only Christians who are there, unbelievers are also there. You want to minister to them and let them get the message of what you're singing. So I begin with Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. So I want to sing the words and let them get the message. I don't come out, take the mic, oh, hallelujah. Amen. I mean, come on, what is going on here? And when she said that, I so laughed. I laughed. If I didn't get anything from that class, I remember that one example vividly, and it stuck with me till today, even though I've not told her. I'm sure she has heard it now.
Well,
So moderation is key.
thank
Yes, you can do this thing. Pastor Wale says that you can do something, you have the ability, the capacity to do stuff. Yes, does not mean you should now overdo it. And the example he gave was, if your car can run at 240, it doesn't mean you're on service lane you should run at 240. You just keep
I
it.
remember
So
that. I
moderation
remember
is
that.
key. That's my
Yes.
advice.
I remember he said that.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. That was during the Q&A. Yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
Maureen, how did you get to learn
Yeah. Yeah.
so many languages? I mean, guys, all of you
Oh
who have
my.
joined, you can hear her.
Wow.
The girl she has a voice on her. I mean, there is no denying it. She has a voice on her. But she can sing Efik, she can sing Fufude, she can sing Hausa, she can sing. Where are you from, Papa?
I'm from Bayelsa.
Okay,
I'm a
okay.
job.
She's
Yeah.
an Ijo girl, but she sings
Yeah.
Igbo, everything, everything. You understand? So, how did you get to? Is this a natural gift of yours, or did you intentionally go learn it?
Hmm. For me, really, when I train people or teach people, I rarely use myself as example, because mine is a case of carry come. Most of it was a matter of carry come. When God says, oh yeah, this one is inside, oh yeah, go and conquer your word. So I rarely use myself as example, but I just realized, I noticed that I loved languages, even though I don't speak them. I just love languages. The moment I hear a song that is not English, I get interested. I don't put off any language. This language is somehow. Is this one? I just had this natural flair for languages. I just love them. And then my mom also would hear most of the Spanish songs I sing today. My mom forced me to learn them. In fact, she didn't force me to learn them for me. She forced me to learn them for her, to teach her eventually, because she learned at a very slow pace. So she hears the song like this, shout to the Lord, women of faith. when she heard the Spanish
Oh yeah.
version, yeah, she waited for me to return home from choir practice that day, and I did not hear what that day. Oh yeah, play the video. They played the video. Have you heard it? Oh yeah, learn it. They're teaching me from tomorrow. I had to learn it that day, and then I started teaching her gradually, gradually until she learned it. So all those Spanish songs, some other tribal songs, when she hears them and likes them, I have to go and learn them. So she more like was pushing me more in that direction. So that's how, so even till today I tell people, so long as you're a singer, you should be able to sing in other languages, not just your language. You should be able to sing in other languages and sing them well, at least 98%, 98 to 99%, so that the people from that tribe will be able to say, okay, yes, you actually spoke our language, not a form of it, so
We have we
that's it
have
for
we
me.
have a
Yeah.
comment. We have a comment on Instagram. My son Emmanuel
All right.
Oterai says, "I don't like languages." Yeah, we know you're gifted in other ways. We know you're gifted in other ways. Yes, but Maureen really takes it there. I never thought about learning a language in a song in a different language. I like learning the ones in fact, my best worship songs, very interestingly, are Yoruba and Efik. Sorry, not Efik. Yoruba and Igbo.
Oh,
And
wow.
those are languages I don't speak,
Okay.
but I just know that I love the way,
Yeah.
like, when Chioma Jesus is praising God, when she's praising God, I want to
Yeah.
be there, like saying, when
It's
she's
just
saying,
yeah.
Chioma, 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 I had to ask somebody, is she
Yeah.
praising
Yeah.
herself? Is she
Okay,
praising
more.
herself? And the person said
No, no,
no. He
no.
said no. He said no, it's not
Oh,
praising
she's
herself.
good.
You know, yes, that she's praising God. And
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. So what do you do? They say you give definition to the word African praise. What does that mean?
Hmm. I think hmm, one of it is what we just talked about. When we talk about African praise, talking about these languages, that's one. And then secondly, um, it's what people think, it's what people say, so that it's not like I'm praising myself. People always go, we've heard people lead praise every time we hear people lead African praise. But when you come on African praise, it becomes different. It sounds different. It sounds unique and it sounds really, really strong. And that's how they define me with that phrase. So that's what. And then there was a conference in church. Then when we used to have Inspire conference, then I finished ministering, and to God be the glory, it was awesome. And then Pastor came on and said, "Oh, this was beautiful, but you haven't heard Maureen until she does African praise." And that day, I intentionally did not do anything African or praise. I did something totally different. So even though they were blessed, they still wanted, and Pastor had to call me back up to come and run Africa Praise. I had to do that for like the next 15 to 20 minutes, and we were like, yeah, I said this is African Praise. When so they just defined me with that, and someone actually wrote that profile and said, "This is you." So I've been rolling with it. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that definition because I do not see it as a limitation. But I will say, I'll ask you,
No, it's not. It's
have
not.
you? No, it isn't. It isn't. You know, have you done other genres of menstruation? And which ones do you kind of? I know you're going to tell me like, "Oh, God begin." I hear you, but which ones do you like? Because I really like African praise. I think when I'm
Yeah.
singing to God in my language, it takes me there. But then at the
Yeah.
same time,
That's,
I could start singing, "We fall down, but we get up," and it takes me
well,
to a different place. You know,
yeah. Yeah.
but so, which one do you prefer? Because I have seen you on stage with somebody whose name an international gospel minister, and I looked at you again and said, "My goodness." Maureen can do that. You know. Yeah, I
Oh
know you know
my.
you know what you know who I'm talking about. You know the
Yeah, I
exact
know,
thing
I
I'm
know,
talking
I
about.
know, I
Yes,
know,
yes,
I know.
yes.
Hmm. Okay, so now we're talking about which one I love best. Huh.
Yes. Or are you fluid?
Okay.
I mm,
No, there must be one that every singer tilts towards, you know. Even though we can do this, we can do that, there's always one that you tend towards. And the style I usually would tend towards is Fuji. That's the style I would usually tend towards. But I do, the last reinvent, I did something totally different. I did not even Ariaria, as in I went off Ariaria, I went off Fuji, and people were like, what is going on here? Yes, I told them it's reinvent, you know, but I naturally would always tend towards the style of Fuji. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's something visceral, something inside us that responds to those drums. It is so inside us that we can't really explain. We can't explain.
Mm.
And maybe you talked about diction and something. Was it diction and clarity? I can't remember what you mentioned when you're
Okay, I
tuning.
said diction in two parts, correctness and clearness.
Yes,
Yeah,
correctness and clearness.
and
Okay,
clear. Yeah.
correctness and clearness. So maybe it is the diction, the fact that you're singing the songs and we can hear the original singers singing through you. You
Yeah.
know, maybe that is it. I don't know. When you have another conversation with God, please ask him because I'd like to know.
I
I'd like to know.
I think someone asked me this some time back, and I don't know. All I could tell the person was, first of all, I don't put off the language. I embrace the language. In fact, I embrace it as a challenge. And then I get people who speak the language to help me through with the pronunciation of each word. When I'm done with that and I've mastered the song, I learn the song to the point where I own it. It becomes mine. So it's no more Tokbe Alabi singing. It's no more Oba doing that chant. It's no more this person singing that song. This is now Maureen
Spirit.
singing this song. And you're like, is it your song? I thought it was Tokbe Alabi that wrote this song. Yes, it's Tokbe Alabi, but I've owned it. This is me. So when I render it, I don't render it like um, I'm not sure of what I'm singing. No, no, no. I render it with all confidence and boldness because I know I have done all the groundwork. The people who speak the language have taken me through the pronunciation of each word. So if I don't come out 100%, I must come out 99% or 99.5%. So you learn to the point where you own it, it becomes yours. So when you sing an Igbo song, people are like, wow, are you Igbo? In fact, when my mom was still alive then in church, one day someone greeted her. I was like, Mama Maureen, well done, no. So she was telling me at home that two men sat beside her in church, and one of the men turned to her and was like, is this lady your daughter? She said, yes. I was like, the man that greeted her in Yoruba. So she said, no, that she doesn't understand Yoruba. Oh. The man goes, but you people are Yoruba now. She said, no, we are not Yoruba. I said, no, Mama, you are Yoruba. She said, my pikin, now you won't tell me where I come from again. Say, my pikin, we are not Yoruba. Oh. He said, no, 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 Mama, don't tell me that. You are Yoruba. It was the other man now that was telling him, you're not the father of the child. The mother of the
Child.
child is telling you that they are not Yoruba. So why are you putting it to her that they are Yoruba? They are not Yoruba. So someone else had to intervene that they are not Yoruba, they are Ejo. So, the other man now goes, I thought she was Igbo. Say no, she's neither Igbo nor Ijo nor Yoruba. So
That's what I thought.
you learn it to the point where you own it. It becomes your own, becomes your language. Yeah. So I always advise singers, don't run away from languages, just learn it. Just learn it. You just add it to what you already have.
Okay, Jasari, thank you for
Yeah.
still being on it. And she says she for her is jazz anytime. Yeah, Jasari, I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
I feel I feel you. I am a jazz. That is my number one genre. Yes, and I don't even do lights. I don't do smooth jazz per se. I really go deep with jazz, But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You see, Maureen, I'm really so glad that you've kicked off this session of the power of the voice, and
Yeah.
that we are taking it in this direction. Because prior to now, I just think, okay, I'm going to confess to everybody. I used to sing when I was in secondary school. I was in the choir,
Mm,
and then I got
okay.
demoted.
Oh my. Oh my.
I got demoted to beating the pot. You know those native pots that you'll be beating like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It has two
yeah.
holes, and then after that, I got further demoted to
Uh,
to playing the. There's this wooden. I don't know what they call it. I know in is it Brazil or the Spanish countries they call them kalimba. Kalimba, it's like a thumb piano. It can be a big boxy piano. It has this wooden things, and you're playing it. I
okay.
grew up in a very traditional setting, So that's what
Okay.
I was playing. And I was just thinking, like, was my voice not good enough? Why did they keep demoting me? In,
Oh,
well, I saw it as a demotion and stuff like that. But can you train someone's voice? Maybe not to sing professionally, but
yeah.
just because the person likes to sing, can you train someone? Are there certain foods you should stay off apart from the exercises? Yeah.
Okay, for me, I don't recommend staying off food. I don't. I love food. I don't recommend staying off food. Maybe others do, but I don't. I don't tell you stay off this. I don't tell you stay off that. There was a time I went through a training, and the trainer told us to not, drink Gary, soak Gary with
Hmm.
water and drink that. It's not good.
How?
It's going to damage the voice. And that is like one of my best meals. If that is a meal, that is one of my best. I just have to drink Gary. And I'm wondering what is going on here. So for me, and then another person says, if you take cold water, yes, it spoils the voice. I don't totally disagree with that. I don't disagree with that because after you have warmed up, you're ready to sing, you now take very cold water. It's just going to, the fatty tissues around here is just going to just congeal and all of that. So I don't totally disagree, but I don't take warm water. I don't take
So
warm water. I must drink Gary. I used to drink palm oil. I used to drink palm oil. My mom stopped me because of fat, not because it was damaging my voice like people said. So all the things a lot of trainers have heard them say don't do were the things I loved, and it didn't worry me. So when people come to me, I don't tell them don't take this, don't take that. I tell them what begin to watch your voice henceforth. If you eat this, watch how your voice reacts to it. So it makes you know your voice to know what works for you. And one example I used to give, there was a time I traveled with Reverend Christy. Reverend Christy, we went to Lagos, and then I noticed that Pastor Bakare bought us suya, and then she passed her suya over. You know, I sat down and I had the best time of my life. And then later I was like, Mama, what's going on? Why didn't you eat your suya? And she says, if she eats that suya for the next 2 weeks, she won't be able to sing. I'm like, I just finished eating and we're going off stage in the next 3 minutes and I will deliver. So I now realize, I said, for some persons, it may not work. For some others, it may work. So you know your voice. One thing I've discovered for me is when if my voice is in good condition, I take Tom Tom. I don't know if it's a mind
okay.
thing. I start feeling somehow. So you come to me, all I tell you is when you start working with me for the period of 3 months, 6 months, I tell you, you have to start watching your voice and know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Otherwise, I don't tell anybody to stay away from any foods. Yeah. But we can work your voice, constant singing, constant training will work your voice to the point where you can sing, at least enjoy what you're singing. Not maybe not professionally, but at least you sing and enjoy what you're singing, and other people to enjoy what they hear from you. Yeah.
And yeah, I think in my mind, maybe Diana Ross or somebody like that. In my mind,
Yes, so no, you can be anything in your mind. Anybody can be any. In fact, in my mind, I'm a very great dancer. But reality is a different story.
I remember one morning, early one morning, I woke up and I wanted to sing. I wanted to do my devotion. My daughter was with me, and I started singing, and I noticed that she picked up the pillow and covered her head. I said,
Oh
"What's
my.
wrong with you?" I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Mommy, please, can you not sing? Can you not sing right now?"
Oh my. Wow.
I was not undeterred. I didn't care. I didn't care. I kept singing anyway. I didn't care. Okay, we have so many interesting comments here, and then Joanne says she needs this training. She needs to love her voice. Joanne, just love your voice first, and then we will
And
we
then
will go.
we training.
We will go. She will come and train us. She'll just come and train us, and we'll make it happen. I want to
Yeah.
go back to something you talked about, like
Okay.
you give definition to the word African praise, and I want to ask you about two things. Which is first of all, they say the phrase you said, owning the
Yeah.
song. Let me say owning the music. What does it really mean? And then staying in your lane.
Yeah.
What does that really mean to you?
Okay. Um. Okay. Let me begin with owning the song you're singing. It just simply means it's just delivery. It just simply means delivering a song like you're sure of what you're singing, like you know what you're singing. Um, when without singers, the way you stand first of all on stage, or rather, not the way you stand on stage, the way you walk up the stage to want to sing, already tells us if you're confident or not. It already tells us if we should start praying for you. Like this person doesn't look like they are sure of what is about to happen. Yes, so I tell singers from the point you're going up to sing, you walk smartly, and you can only work smartly when you know that you are ready, you have done your homework. So owning the song simply means doing your homework, shredding the song to the point where it becomes a part of you. They wake you up any time of the day, you can deliver that song at least 99%. Yes, you have owned the song already. It's just that it's now coming out through a different voice that is not maybe a Messi Chinwo or a Tokme Alabi or a Nathaniel Bassi, but you're singing that song so well that even Nathaniel Bassey will be like, "Wow, this is good." So for me, that's simply owning the voice, and I'm sure other persons might have what they think owning a song means to them too. Okay, and then staying in your lane. Whew. Okay, let me cite an example. There was a time that in the choir, I believe singers are also listening to me. There was a time that, when we come out to sing, for instance, someone wants to lead worship. The person comes out, the person is just talking, oh, our God is faithful. Oh, he's so wonderful. And they finish playing the intro of the song. Auntie starts singing. Auntie is still preaching. 1 minute, Auntie is still talking. 2 minutes, hey, sister, how far now? They've played the intro like a million times over. Even the people you want to sing to or encourage to join you in worship, they are like, okay, now we have heard. Can we now sing the song? That thing in my choir at some point, it was almost like the norm. You have to show the church that you understand the message of the song you're about to sing. So you have to say something, and then in saying something, you have taken 30 seconds, you've taken 1 minute, you've taken almost 2 minutes, and then pastor comes on one day and says, You are the singer, I'm the preacher. Everybody stay on your lane to avoid accidents. Um, that's staying on your lane. So bringing it to us singers, I think I would think that if, for instance, okay, let me use Jasari. I don't. I have one or two songs I've written in jazz, which I've not recorded, But jazz is not my main thing. So to hear Jasari do a jazz song and I'm like, is it this jazz? I sing this jazz or I die. It's going to be a problem because I'm not trying to leave my lane where I'm graced for to go into a different lane. There will be accident, there will be problem. I won't like the outcome. So staying on your lane for me will be, your area of strength where God has graced you. Once in a while, you can touch this, touch that, touch that. But your area where God has graced you. You stay there and you hold it strong and you get better and just keep growing in it. So for me, that would mean staying on your lane.
So essentially, it's doing what you have been purposed and resourced for.
Yes.
What will give you glory? It may not give you fame, but sorry, not give you glory. What will
Yeah.
reveal the glory of God, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It may not give you the fame that somebody else has, but it
Yes.
will reveal
Yes.
the glory of God where you are.
Yes. And you're always fulfilled every time you deliver in that place of your strength. Yes. Yes. It just makes you feel or makes you come out looking like a superstar because you're in that your place. You're your place delivering what God has graced you for. People just look at you like one untouchable superstar. Yeah. And meanwhile you're just fulfilling purpose.
A
That's
fulfilling
it.
purpose. I think that's the
Yeah.
important thing. So this is guys, this is something about Maureen. I'll read it out. Her debut album was released last November in 2021, last November, and it's called Unrestrained. And it can be found on
Yeah.
all digital platforms. We will post the link. What we have here is not something you can click on, but you can find her on Facebook as Maureen Adebayo, and you can also find her on Instagram under the same name and also on YouTube. So please, guys, go check it out. And when you check it out, uh, please buy it. Don't do free listeners. Buy it, buy it, because this is also. You might ask, what are we doing with the power of the voice? These are different ways in which we are basically a branding company, and
Yeah.
we're looking at personal brands and business brands, and a lot of
Yeah.
personal brands can be small, can be big, they grow, and everything. And the power of the voice, it's just another way in which all of us can learn to use the gifts, the things that we've been gifted with, and we are gifted with different things. And somebody could listen to this and be gifted to take this to the secular. And somebody could be gifted with the same set of gifts and talents and be gifted to minister. So
Mm.
that knowing what you are graced for is very,
Yeah.
very important, extremely important. And also
Yeah.
knowing that when I hesitate to call the word brand, but they're all brands. Brands is really at the very basic level. It's all that you do, all that you say, all people see you and perceive you to be. That is a brand. So if I were to be, and I'm going to now go look for Jazz Sari now, because jazz is yeah, jazz is my
Yeah.
natural default. But I also feel
Yeah.
that yes, there are certain times that I need to listen to Maureen Adebayo. There's a definition, and there's a definition in
Yeah.
another one, or an Oterai. I'm not picking
Yeah.
favorites here. They're just people that I know and different things that they do at different
Yeah.
times, which minister to it. But we're coming to the close of the hour, and I don't know if I should be naughty again. Should I be naughty?
Go ahead, ma.
Was it was this as scary as you thought it would be?
Nah.
I told you we don't do scary. We don't do scary or plot. Yeah. One thing we do is that we really love people and we want people to bring out their best. So what I would ask in rounding up, what kind of advice would you give people in building their brand in this the power of the people who are gift saving, not those of us who have some me and Joanne, you need to come and learn. Yes. Yes. So what kind of
Okay.
what advice would you give?
Okay. One. The things that have helped me. For me, I would advise you stay focused, stay consistent, and just serve. Serve in that place where God has called you while building your brand. Like you said, you have to. You have to. You have to avoid uprooting yourself every single time. Avoid just jumping out, going here just before you're planted, you're already out. Avoid that. Stay focused, stay consistent, and just serve in that place that God has called you. And then keep working on your gift. Keep recording if you have to. Go and train if you need to go and train some more. Ask questions, ask people around you, and then allow God to move you from there. Yeah. So stay focused, consistent, and continue to serve in your local church. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
This has been a
ma'am.
lot. This is something that anybody can apply. Stay focused, stay consistent, serve where you are called. Because if you move before it's time, well, as
Yeah.
my sister you used to say to me, you say you have yourself to blame. You only have yourself to blame if you move
Oh,
ahead of
yeah.
time. Yes, and
Yeah.
keep holding your gifts, work on your gifts,
Yeah.
So, and guys, remember, Maureen has released several singles, but this is her debut album and it's called Unrestrained. Support my girl Maureen, please. You heard her, she can
Thank
sing.
you.
So please support her, and we are going to support you. That's how it rolls.
Thank
We all
you.
support
Thank
each other,
you.
we collaborate each other. So thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank you, ma'am.
everybody on Instagram, and thank you. I need to say bye bye to them first. Bye. Thank you,
All right.
everyone on
Thank
Instagram.
you all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Take
very
care.
much. Yeah. Bye.
I and on
All
Facebook,
right. Yeah.
thank you everyone who has come on and who has stayed on. We really appreciate all that you've done, and
Yeah.
all the questions and all the comments. Thank you for making it such a pleasure. And Maureen,
Yeah.
you made it so beautiful for us. Thank you for
Thank you,
kicking off the
ma'am.
session. I
Thank you,
appreciate
ma'am.
you.
I appreciate it too, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Uh,
Thank you. Love you,
okay,
ma'am. Love you so much.
love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Take
bye.
care. Bye
You
bye.
too, ma'am. Yeah, bye.